You're going to be here in St. Louis on November 9th at the Sheldon. What can people
Yes.
expect from your show?
People can expect a lot of energy. People can expect a good time. People can expect a lot of laughs. People can expect a lot of reality, a lot of interaction. I performed in St. Louis before. I've never performed at the Sheldon, but I love the crowds. I love the people. I love the barbecue, and I think it's a shame that the uh, great St. Louis football fans no longer have a team. I am an advocate for the NFL bringing back the Cardinals to their rightful owners and fans.
Really? Oh, okay. My
Yeah,
my grandpa was a season ticket holder for the Cardinals years and years ago. So, um, but he raised me to be a Chiefs fan. So,
I
I've been a Kansas City
understand.
fan. But
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's
man,
going pretty good for you these days.
it's going all right. Yeah. No, I wanted to. You mentioned reality, and that's one thing that I really like about listening to your podcast. And by the way, 10 years. Congratulations on the 10-year anniversary.
Thank you, thank you.
Did you expect it to when you first started? Did you ever expect it to be 10 years later and still going with it?
Absolutely not. I don't think anybody could have imagined that podcasting would become such a mainstream form of entertainment, information, news. So no, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea, that podcasting would take it this far. To quote the great Biggie Smalls. But here we are. I love doing the podcast. I love listening to podcasts, and it's a whole other form of like I said, information and news and everything, entertainment, and it's just a whole other platform. So I think it's great, and I'm glad that I gotten into it when I did 10 years ago.
I the one thing I really like about your social media is you're always talking about what's current in the news and things like that. Do you think that if you didn't have the podcast, would you still be as into following all the news and current events going on around the world?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the stuff that I talk about on the podcast and the stuff that I talk about on social media is just of what is of interest. It's not. I don't look at it as a job at all. I mean, I'm a professional podcaster, but I don't look at it as a job. I take it seriously because I do get paid to do it. I take the show seriously, but as far as what I talk about and when I talk about it and the level of excitement, enthusiasm, and frustration, that's as genuine as that's as close to the real me as possible.
Sure. When you're here, that week before will be the big election, of course.
Crazy.
What do
And it's
you
going to be a crazy
foresee?
week to be
Yeah,
performing.
I mean that's going to be a crazy week. I mean, any idea what you expect might happen, or is it just who the hell knows right now?
I am in the who the hell knows right now. I have no idea. I am hoping and praying for whoever wins to win by, a large amount. I don't want any questions. I don't want any doubts. I don't want any civil unrest. I want what's best for the country. I want what's best for the world. I want what's best, for everybody. So I hope it is just a fair, quick election. I think no matter, how it turns out, I think that everybody should just be, in the mindset of, let's just, really hope and pray that that person, does the best they can and to try to support whoever it is, honestly.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I feel like has really been lost in this, even the last 4 years before that, is we've been so divided as a country. And I mean,
Terribly.
Have you ever remembered a time where the country has been this divided over the last, 5, 6+ years?
No, I mean, I don't think it's ever happened. I think, it's sad. It's frustrating. It's sad that the country's divided. It's sad that so many, relationships and people don't speak to this one, people don't speak to that one, and and this friend and that friend and family members all over this, and it's serious. But at the end of the day, your friends and your family are way more important relationships, because the politicians, no matter who they are, no matter how awesome you think they are, they ain't worrying, thinking about any one of us. None of them are specifically thinking about any one of us. So to jeopardize your friendships and family over that, I think it is. I don't support it. It's not worth it. And I think people, including myself at times, have taken things too far and taken it too personal. And I just don't want to see any more of that.
Right. Well, hopefully everything goes okay for that week leading up to your show. So you'll obviously have plenty to talk about. I know that.
It'll certainly be a lot to just. It'll be great for comedy. It's going to be a great week for comedy. It'll be a great night for comedy at the Sheldon, November 9th. That I could promise you. I don't know who's going to win the election, but I do know there'll be a lot of laughs Saturday night.
One thing I know you're heavily involved in and that I follow quite often is your fantasy football talk. And how is that going for you so far?
I'm in 2 leagues. Neither one of them is going perfectly. I don't think they ever go perfectly. This is why we play it. If you play it, it is the true thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. There's been so many injuries and disappointments, and then there's surprises that work for you, and then there's things that you love, and it's just every season it's just you're just going, it's like you're just getting put through the emotional fantasy football ringer. But I do love it as much as it drives me crazy. There's nothing like it. It makes me appreciate the NFL as a whole so much more. So I'm just it really, with all the craziness that's going on in the world, it really gives me a lot of levity.
Sure. Now, are you a Giants fan being from New York?
I am a Giants fan. Okay. I also do like the Jets. I'm not one of these people who is divide and conquer with my New York teams. I'm not a big baseball fan, but I like to see both the Yankees and the Mets do well. But yeah, I am a Giants fan, and they've been troubled. Obviously, the Jets are struggling and trying to figure everything out under the old legs and shoulders of Aaron Rodgers. So it's a good time. But that being said, I do have my fantasy. I do have hopes and prayers that Rashee Rice. They're saying it's not an ACL as of the recording of this interview, this conversation. So I'm praying he comes back, because he's my guy. I love watching him play. Across the board, I'm disgusted with Mike McDaniels and his lack of preparation. To do anything outside of with Tua. He's got 3 Ferraris and he doesn't seem to know what to do anything with. So all of it is good. All of it is fun. All of it is frustrating.
And your Knicks are getting ready to kick off the season too, right?
Yep. NBA preseason starts. It's starting. So, the Knicks are kicking off their season. I love the NBA. I mean, it's an incredible time of the year for sports fans, with baseball, playoffs, college football, college basketball is looming. Obviously, NFL is in full gear, and the NBA is about to take off. So I love it. I love it. Yeah,
I think your Knicks got a shot this year.
We got a shot. We got a shot. So yeah, and you're an Indiana Pacers fan, so I want to keep things cordial and respectful. But yeah, we got a shot. Got it.
We'll see what happens. I don't know. But yeah, you were talking about barbecue. Do you have a favorite spot here in St. Louis?
No, you got a recommendation? If you could give me one spot that I
You
must
know,
eat barbecue at while I'm in St. Louis, where would it be?
Pappy's.
Pappy's. That's what I keep
Pappy's.
hearing.
Yeah, that would
All
be the
right.
spot, and it's close to the Sheldon too. So, you don't have to go very far. So that's the place I would recommend, I think.
All right. I'm going to be hitting up Pappy's.
Absolutely. And one more question for you before I let you go. When you do the podcasts and all that, has there ever been something that you just didn't feel comfortable talking about, and but you still felt you had to, and how do you overcome that?
It's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I think there's many things that I don't feel necessarily comfortable talking about. Obviously, they're the more serious things,
Sure.
but it's imperative to talk about them. I think it's imperative to be, as I think for me, doing my podcast, it's, it is a reflection of my thoughts, my feelings, my ideas. So I try to just, lean to all of it. It'd be hard to pick one thing specifically, but the more, and also the more personal things are probably the more challenging for me, like things about, my own comings and goings in my own life. But that's probably the most challenging. But anytime it has to do with people suffering, that's probably the more harder way to do it.
Sure. Sure. Well, Michael, thank you so much for taking the time today. And I tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing you here on November 9th at the Sheldon.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, and I'll see you at St. Louis and on the 9th, and you might see me in St. Louis on the 9th, pre show eating at Pappy's.
All right. Take care.
All right, thank you.